Lavender Hill Loft. I want to show you a simple equation to make a determination on a particular pair of pigeons that you may have, a particular race that you've had, or the amount of young birds that you're sending out to fraternities if you are scoring in the significant range, and if what your particular breeding program, if it's desirable. And how we come at this, it's a minus b squared over a plus b gives us x. And how we arrive at this is it's a equals the number of positive reactors and b is the number of negative reactors. A positive reactor would be the number of birds you sent to a race or have raised, and b, being negative, would be the amount that you have lost or culled. So let's start with a particular young bird race. Let's say it's your first young bird race. And in this race you have sent 75 young birds. And you've lost 25 of them. Now most fanciers would say that if you sent 75 young birds to a race and you lose a third of them, that you had a bad race. But let me show you statistically what the mathematics say the opposite of. So we had 50 come home, we lost 25. Squared becomes 625. 50 plus 25 equals 75, and 75 into 625 gives us a number of 8.3. Now 8.3 is a significant number because it is closer to the most desirable number we're looking for, which is 10. 1 is highly undesirable, 10 is very desirable. So in this particular race, on this particular day, even with the amount of losses we've had a race that was as close to 10 as we could have gotten, meaning that we had a really good race statistically. Let's take a particular pair of pigeons and see if they're statistically sound and worth breeding from. So from this particular pair of birds, we've bred 20 young birds, and over the course of young birds, old birds, and young birds, maybe old birds again, we've lost 5 of them. So 15 minus 5 squared is 100. 15 plus 5 equals 20. 20 goes into 105 times. Now, the problem with this number is that it is on the low end of the desirable scale, with 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. So this particular pair, in my opinion, would not be worth your time breeding from. I would remove this pair from your breeding loft. You have bred a significant number of young birds from it, and over the course of racing them, while you've only lost 5, you still have come up with a very low-end desirable number. I want to show you another particular pair of birds and see if you can make a determination if this pair should be kept or removed. So out of this particular pair, as you can see, we've bred 10 young birds. We've lost 3, which 7 minus 3 squared gives us 16. 7 plus 3 is 10. 10 goes into 16 1.6 times. Now, that's worse than the pair above, but we also bred only half as many young birds. Now, in my opinion, this is not a significant number to judge a pair by. 20 is, 10 is not. Because this number is so low, I would not remove this pair from my breeding loft yet. I would try to get at least 6 to 10 more young birds out of this pair to make a proper determination. Let me show you why breeding, what most guys do is they'll breed 6 young birds out of a particular pair of birds and then make a determination upon those 6 and possibly try to build a family around them, or remove them And either way, I don't believe you have made a proper determination because your number isn't significant enough. So we start with 6, we lose 4, and 6 minus 4 squared is 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 goes into 4 1.66 times. That number is as low as you can get. In this particular instance, you have not made or have not bred significantly enough young birds to make a determination on a particular pair. If you remove this pair or culled this pair from your loft, you could be making a huge mistake, because you've only bred 6 birds, giving you a low coefficient. It's still mathematically insignificant. You need to breed, in my humble opinion, a minimum of 16 young birds from each particular pair to make a proper determination, on the low end proper determination, if that pair is worth breeding from. The higher you go, 20 or more young birds, you will get a more realistic coefficient for those birds and make a proper determination for that pair. So I highly recommend a minimum of 16 and approaching of 20 young birds to make a proper determination on a particular pair of pigeons.